name's Barbara Gray from Claritystamp here in the UK, and welcome to YouTube Tuesday. Today I'd like to showcase a collection of our beautiful Rennie Macintosh-esque Art Nouveau stamps, which have been proving very, very popular here in the United Kingdom. First of all, here for example, you can see we have a collection of really lovely words, and there are 8 of these designs in total, all with very interchangeable words. So I thought I would focus on one of the rose plaques, and I would show you a lesson. I'll show you a trick in how to use Versamark in conjunction with mica powders on both black and white card, because I think this kind of this look goes very well, this style goes very well with this style of stamp. So let's have a look. First of all, I'm going to use some black card. So rule number 1, if we're going to use Versamark and mica powders, I would say that we dust this gently with some talcum powder. And the reason we're doing this is so that in a minute, apart from smelling lovely, when we do this, when we go to polish the card afterwards, because we've created a kind of a film with the talcum powder, the excess powders will wipe away very easily and they won't cling to the card. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my Versamark ink pad. Now I've already stripped the indexing off my stamp, and this is very important. If I don't do this, then what will happen is it will really wreck my Versamark. Now the Versamark like this still works perfectly well, it just doesn't look very nice. In fact, I'm going to use it for this one. Okay, so we're just going to ink up the stamp with the Versamark, and you can see I'm taking the gloopy Versamark ink to the stamp, and then rather than go directly, what I want to do is just blot the stamp first. If I blot it before I go to the actual card, then the line art will be finer, and you'll find that it won't, it's less likely to slide because you're going to get more traction. So I'm pressing hard, it's a big stamp, and I think that we'll have a really good image now. There we go. Can you see that okay? So now we've got that, let's just do the plaque first. I'll just put the lid on there. And what I want to do first of all is use just simply gold over the whole thing. So I'm going to just take a little bit of gold with a paintbrush and just drop it onto the artwork. And then we don't need loads, we just need enough to cover the Versamark. And you'll see as it goes through, because we're using gold, everywhere where there's a Versamark line, the mica powder will catch. Really lovely. And you can see how detailed the lines are, only because I think it's very important to blot it before you plot it. There, isn't that great? So that's the first thing we've done. And then what we'll do now, we haven't wasted much of the powder at all. So what I'll do now is I'll take one of my great big brushes and I'll just dust the excess off. Right, and you'll see, because we blotted the stamp, it's not sticking anywhere at all. Now let me just show you another trick now. I want to add some different colours to this. So before we continue, let me take my blue powder. I'm going to do a couple of tricks here, and I'm going to take my Versamark pen this time, and very lightly I'm going to add a couple of dots here and there. So these take a little time to dry, so I'll do the dots first before I do the stamp. And if I can see exactly where I'm adding a little accent. There we go. I mean, you could colour, if you had time on your hands, you could colour in whole areas. Just humour me for a minute while I just add, I can colour in a whole leaf here. There we go. Let's just do that. Okay. That'll do. Right. So while that's drying, because that's going to take a little longer to dry, let me take my thank you and let me drop that in there. Now I'm going to use my Versamark again, but this time I must remember to blot it as well. So I've mounted up my thank you stamp. I've got my Versamark ink on there. Be sure to blot it before you plot it. So I just blot that on there first. And then I'm going to just hover over this, just excuse my head for a minute so I can see what I'm doing. I just want to make sure it's in the right place. Right, and then I'll just place that down gently. Because I've blotted it, I'm less likely to slide around on the shiny black card. This is black clarity card, by the way. Right, now we can't see that, but I promise you it's there. So I'm going to take another paintbrush now, and I'm just going to add a little bit of blue to here. I'm steering clear of the dots for the minute because I'm sure that they're not quite ready. But let's have a look at this. There you go, two-tone. Doesn't that work nicely? And of course we can see through the stamp, so we can see exactly where we're placing it. So that's easy enough. Now I can see that these dots are still not quite dry. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to let them dry for a moment, just put them to one side. And in the meantime, let's do the whole thing, but let's do it on white. Like, we can have a look if it works on white too. There's no difference really. We're going to do exactly all the same stuff. The first thing we need to do, for example, is definitely dust with a bit of talc, only so that we don't cling again, so to speak. And then I'm going to take my stamp again, and I'll take my Versamark. Now, this time, I think I'm going to use this one because it's a clean Versamark, and I want it to be pure gold. But I want to show you that you don't have to stamp on black card to make a great impression. You just have to play by the same rules. So the next thing to do, of course, like last time, is blot. I'm going to do that. Then on our white card, I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. Hover with the handle, place, and then press hard in the middle. So let's do that. Okay. Big stamps always require more pressure. Okay. So we've got that. And then we're going to use let's use our blue or our gold, whichever you fancy. Let's put a bit of blue in there this time, shall we? And you'll see. It doesn't matter which they're beautiful metallic mica powders. It doesn't matter which colour you use, which either way, provided that the Versamark is still wet, it will pick up any colour you want. There we go. Let's go with a darker blue at the bottom. Let's mix and match the blues and we can blend them. What I'll do is I'll come in here with a darker blue because this looks nice. There we go. Doesn't matter which colour you use. They're beautifully metallic. There we go. And now we're mixing the light blue with the dark blue just by dropping them in over the top like that. But once the light blue's down, you're not going to be able to darken it, but you can create a blend between the two. Did you see? Just by rubbing them together. Okay, so that's easy. Right, I'll take my big brush again just to rub off the excess, just wipe off the excess. And the thing about this is when we hold it up to the light now, even though it looks matte like that, what you'll see is when we hold it to you can see how it shimmers beautifully. Okay? So that's really something special. And again with the gold one, more of the same. So in the meantime, my hope is that my Versamark dots will have dried. Shall we have a look? So now I'm just going to grab I'm going to grab a little bit of I reckon this will work now. We'll just add a little. If this smears, then we all know that I should have waited a bit longer. But that's easy enough to do, isn't it? The main thing is that the words are in. And if it does smear, then all I'm saying is wait 10 minutes before these little dots are dry. Okay, so let's have a go. And I'm just going to dust them like that. And you can see, because of this is the interesting thing, because of the talcum powder, where's my tissues gone? Where did I put my tissues? I wonder if I could just reach across for my tissues. Thank you very much. Okay. But you'll see that because we put down a layer of talcum powder, this is a really, see how it just wipes off and it doesn't cling. I'm being a bit ginger around these little dots. If you're wondering why I suddenly go into levitating, it's because I'm aware of those little dots. But you can see how the black goes right back to black, really, really, really beautifully so. So if we just take this now, and then we can see the two-tone and that thank you, and that works really nicely. Okay, so I think that'll do for today. Let's just check what we did and just what was added to this one. If you're wondering about the edge here, this was done simply by using this 3mm double-sided tape around the edge and then adding a little bit more blue. That's all that was required there. And that's it really. And the dots, as I say, they're done with the bullet end, not the nib, that end of a Versamark pen. So there we go. Mica powders, Versamark pen, Versamark pad, Clarity black card and normal white stencil card. And you find that you can get a really elegant, beautiful effect. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Do leave a comment, do tell me what you think. And if you like what you see here, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if there's anything here that you fancy, then go to our website, www.claritystamp.com. And thank you for joining me, and I shall see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye now.